Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
Is this how you want to be seen on the internet? Want thousands of people to see this face? And welcome to our reaction to episode 10 of Frieren.
Titled A Powerful Mage. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon to get the uncut reaction to all this stuff and get the uncut reactions to the episodes that were still taken down. Haven't got around to getting those back up, but I will. In the meantime, you can check out the uncuts that are all available at timer format on our Patreon and get a lot ahead on the other series that we're watching. Let's check out this Frieren episode and do a reaction to it right now on the BOLDcast channel. Let's go.
Great intro.
It was better than whatever you were doing. I like the lighting effect on that tree there.
flamme, 先生は本当に卑怯だと思ってる。フリーレン、バザルトの最後の言葉は覚えてるか？覚えてない。あいつらは言葉で人間をたぶらかすんだよ。そうだ、言葉を話すだけの魔物に過ぎない。私が魔族と呼ぶ者たちの正体。奴らは卑怯だ。ならば私たちはそれ以上の卑怯者になればいい。それで魔族を根絶やしにできるのなら、私は喜んでその汚名を着よう。
Is Frieren wearing her earrings later on?
I think so, yeah. I think that was like the first thing I noticed about her, about Flamme.
I also just love how Frieren looks so, like, bored and kind of salty as, like, a kid.
She looks about the same to me as she does now.
Well, she has a different hairstyle, so, like, now she has, like, the pigtails and the earrings and, like, the outfit that just, like, kind of adds a little bit to her personality through her style.
Yeah.
I have sneezed so much lately.
Whoa. Oh.
Wow.
Why do all the, like, literally me characters always get blasted a hole through them?
確かにフリーレンは我らの脅威だ。だが魔力はアウラ戦えばフリーレンは必ず負ける。
なら、フリーレン様が勝ちますね。あの人は魔族と正面から戦うような真似は絶対にしません。
You gotta be as unfair as they are.
Mm.
That's what Flamme said. That's what Sensei told her. If they're gonna be tricky, you gotta be tricky back.
小娘の脆弱な魔力。私は確かにこいつの迅速な魔法の物量に押し切られた。区切りを起こさず、そんなゲートができた。まさかそんなことは。フリーレンも同じなんだな。卑怯者め。お前たちは魔法使いの風上にも置けない。
それはフリーレン様が一番よくわかっていることです。
What are they doing?
Do they make some kind of a pact with something, maybe? Because that's how you would get more, I mean, like a video game or in D&D or something.
Steal it from something else.
Maybe.
Or just figure out a way to keep making more.
Store it? It's Frieren's village?
玉座のバザルト、魔王軍の将軍の一人だ。軍勢を率いて集落を潰しに来たって。こいつを殺したのはお前か？そこの死に。
Whoa.
すごい魔力だ。お前強いだろ。魔族と正面から強い魔法使いの気持ちはわからない。わかるはずだ。は？あなたには私の気持ちがわかるはずだ。あなたの方がはるかに強い魔法使いだから。
Her man is like uncontrolled, it's just like flowing right out.
追っ手だな。お前が殺した将軍より強いぞ。面白いよなこいつら。全に決して闇討ちする気満々だったくせに。
Creepy.
魔法使いとわかるや否や堂々と姿を現しや同時にどいつもこいつもくだらねえ魔法への誇りを持っていや人間の魔法使いそのエルフの女を見逃 してくれんのか。
エルフを皆殺しにし、
Oh.
それが魔王様の命令だ。どうでもいい。
I wonder if the Demon King had some sort of prophecy saying that the little elf girl would fucking
Take him out.
take him out, so he just killed all the elves. Or tried.
こいつらの気持ちも手に取るようにわかるさ。に対する自信と信頼。要するにクソみたいなおごりと油断だ。
No staff?
Oh my god.
私を雑魚と判断したらしい。こいつらは格上だったが、些細な油断で命を
Just, like, disintegrated them.
制限してそこにさせた。
Whoa.
魔力の誤差で欺いて殺す。
That's the trick.
誇り託した卑怯で最低な戦い方だ。
Alright.
私は魔族に全てを奪われ、
私も
根絶やしにしたいほど憎い。
私も
I'll kill them. Every last one.
私は魔法が好きで、
私も好きだ。体外に放出する魔力を10分の1以下に抑えてみろ。さすがだな。よく制御できている。
Imagine it's like constantly flexing just all the time.
こうして基本訓練だ。
ところでこの魔力の制限はどのくらい続ければいいの？
All the
長
time.
いと疲れるんだけど。
私と同じくらい。一生だ。一生をかけて魔族を
For life, wouldn't you live like thousands of years?
首切り役人は全滅だ。失敗したね。
I wonder if she's just gonna like let her see how much like how big her
Or
mana
just let her
is.
use her special ability.
She's gonna see be like, what the fuck?
たくさんの不死のこんなリスクの高い魔法を扱えるのはアウラの絶大な魔力があってのこと。魔力は基本的に丹田に比例して増加していく。溢れ出すアウラの魔力から伝わってくる。
The time they spent training.
アウラの500年以上生きた大魔族であること。
Well,
その生涯のほとんどを丹田に費やしたこと。
but so have I.
100年か。
500 years? Oh, so she's gonna be like
かなりの長寿だ。
twice as big?
今まで敵なしだったのだろう。情報が手に入る。それでも魔族は魔力を包み隠さないし、包み隠
Because if they could, they probably would, given how sneaky they
I
are.
thought they did. I thought they did with Flamme. Didn't they? Those ones that were fallen, they're just like they concealed their mana.
先生、
I think they concealed their presence, not their.
What's the difference?
先生みたいに常に魔力を制限したり。
Okay, I don't think she meant physically. That they were hiding themselves physically.
個人主義の連中は地位や財産で偉いやつが決まる。あの宮殿から出てきた身なりのいいのが偉いやつだ。朝は分かりづらい。だからああやって着飾って自分で分かるようにするのだ。
魔族は違うの。
私が魔物だった頃と何も変わっていない。強いやつが偉いんだ。人よりずっと分かりやすい。分かる。
魔力だね。
奴らにとっての魔力は人にとっての地位や尊厳すると言ってもいい。隠密の手段として一時的に魔力を制限、常日頃から魔力を制限するバカなんて存在しない。
Oh, because it's just it would be like just making yourself look
Yeah.
make yourself look like just the town idiot drunk asshole. Yeah.
魔力が与えられるほど魔族の世界は甘くなる。
That's interesting.
強い魔族ほど必死に魔力を誇示す。常に魔力を制限するメリットなんて皆無だし。
But it's suppressing the beast that allows you to control it.
魔力の制限を始めてから3年か。私の見込みは間違っていなかったな。だいぶ様になってきたな。
It's like so slim now.
Mm-hmm.
フリーレン
Oh.
まだ魔法は好き。
突然どうしたの先生。ほどほどかな。
昔、魔法が好きだとはっきり答えた。
たった50年前でしょ。
そうだな。結局、私はお前に戦いのことしか教えなかった。復讐のための魔法だ。
しているの。
前に私の魔法を託してよかったと思っている。いつか魔王を倒せるほどの高みにたどり着ける。フリーレン、一つ頼みがある。
何？
私の墓の周りは花畑にしてくれ。
似合わないね。
そうだ、フリーレン。私の一番好きな綺麗な花畑を出す。
That was her spell.
小さい頃両親が教えてくれてな。魔法が好きになった。
その魔法を教えてよ。
いいかフリーレン。歴史に名を残そうなんて目立たず生きろ。お前が歴史に名を残すのは魔王をぶっ殺す時だ。
What if Flamme led the demons to her village to give her the same like hatred for demons that she had, because she probably lost her family and village to demons. So she knew she wouldn't live long enough to be strong enough to do it, to kill the Demon King and eradicate all demons. But if she gets an elf, she maybe researched where this elf village was, you know?
That would be super messed up, and I hope that's not true.
And then led the demons there in a same thing, like, you know,
Yeah.
being the trickster. Wait, which town is this? Is this the capital?
Oh, it's just a town.
Mage. Yeah, that was the one with when that was next to right. 1,000 years she just spent like practicing and honing her mana. Right.
なんだこいつムカつだよ。まあまあの魔法使いに用はないでしょ。
いや、君は僕が来たどの魔法使いよりも強い。
How can he see through it?
どうしてそう思うの？
なんとなく。
Just like what she said.
アゼリウス。
Oh boy, here it is.
Good try.
Whoa. Why does Frieren have 3 little orbs in her soul? I wonder if that's foreshadowing or some sort of
There's, like,
setup.
more even.
Oh yeah, there's little
They're kinda
globs.
like
勝利を確信しているの。今にわかるわ。早々のフリーレン。
そうそうのフリーレン。
春に姿を現し、勇者一行とともに魔王様年齢不詳のエルフの魔法使い。でも、あなたがどれだけ長く生きた魔法
Your mana is pitiful. Right. Judge a book by its cover. Great idea. Always works out.
well.
I love how they hyped this up the whole time and you just know, like everyone knows that she's just about to get styled on.
どちらにせよ、私には遠く及ばない。私の勝ちよ。までもなかったわ。少し警戒しすぎた。不死の軍勢もだいぶやられちゃったし、後で補充しないと。天秤がフリーレンの方に魂を天秤に乗せたな。アウラ。正直このまま軍勢の物量で押されていたら危なかった。お前が自分の前お前を倒す。どういうこと？もう気がついているはずだ。私は魔力を制限していた。お前は見誤ったんだ。アウラ。
The skull just like breaks off and flies to the ground.
That's what I was
which is
saying. I'm
so
like
much.
waiting for everything to snap and it for to like plummet into the center of the earth.
Well, it's because she's been training for so long that it's just like it's so smooth. It's not like at first.
Tell her how old you are.
It's not pointless.
I'll show you how pointless it is. Oh no, she's sweating.
ふざけるな。私は500年以上生きた大魔族だ。アウラ、お前の前に1000年以上生きた魔法使いだ。
Oh Oh my god.
She got so scared she awakened the Rinnegan instantly.
アウラ自害しろ
She said, kill yourself.
Oh my
She
god.
said, kill yourself. Please show it. Oh, cutting the hair, that's epic.
Ah.
Ah, Japan, grow up. Show
Why?
the
You don't need
show the demon lolly killing herself. Oh, was that part new?
No. I don't think so.
Something about it looked new.
I'm so sad it's almost over. Why would you say that?
Yeah, and then it's gonna be another fucking 2 years till we get a season 2, because that's
Or
how
just
the anime
never.
cycle works. Or well, no, it'll happen. It'll happen.
So.
But we might not get a 3. You'll finally have to read manga, and we'll have to do manga reviews. Unless there's a light novel adaptation, you could read that.
I keep forgetting to get this song on my phone. It's so good. See that one line? You got a nice body, old man.
Wow. What do you think of Souso no Frieren?
I just really love this show.
I can tell.
And now I'm just sad. And now I'm just sad because I'm just thinking about that it's gonna be over soon.
The thing that we were interested in was not as much the crazy. I mean, the crazy power up at the end was cool.
It was cool. I just don't have that much to say about it because it was just so cool, but also
Yeah.
like self-explanatory.
Yeah, I do like they kind of gave it to the audience in this one. The previous reveals with Frieren, we probably should have talked about this an hour ago. The previous maybe I'll put this closer to the start, but the previous reveals of like Frieren's power and how the magic works and all this shit have been after the thing is like already happening, and you know, like once the thing happens, we're like, oh my god, this is way crazier than I thought it was. But in this, they really give it to the audience at this point, where they're just like, for the last couple episodes, it's been very clear that this was going to happen, and then they made it as clear as possible so that they kind of give you as the audience member like the satisfaction of sitting back and going like, oh shit, I can't wait to see the look on her face.
Yeah.
And then Frieren saying kill yourself as well is just the cherry on top, because Frieren, you know, outdid her with magic. That's, you
And
know,
she didn't
it's
say
totally
just, like,
expected.
die.
But the
It's
fact
like,
that she's so
kill yourself.
maybe there's a translation thing, but like maybe she just said like cut your fucking head off, you bitch, or something like that. Like, you know, the fact that she was so savage as well with that, I think
zero
is
sympathy,
zero sympathy, but also a
remorse.
little bit of spite, because she obviously hates demons. So, and she has no feeling for them, which is so refreshing to me. Again, I just want to reiterate the way that the demons are handled in the show is very refreshing to me. I think that it's you can have a very nuanced story. Like we just spent again, I'm probably going to put this at the start of the discussion, but we talked in the future for you. We just talked from our perspective, like for an hour, about like a bunch of shit that had nothing to do with all of that. And it was, so you still have a really deep and complex story with complex characters and a lot of meaning going on subtextually and implicitly, without, oh, are they human? What's the difference between a demon and a human at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Like going down that whole thing. It just feels like for the last 20 years, that's been everything. And it's become safer to do that than to do what was traditional in like fantasy, sci-fi, whatever type storytelling. Go back even biblical shit. It's just like, you know, demons are bad. That's the point of them, is that they're the bad thing. And
They are not good. They have zero potential for good.
maybe in this story, like we talked about before, there might be a demon that actually has potential to be good. Maybe they just maybe it's just really hard for them to understand, but they could, there's the potential there possibly, and maybe that'll complicate things and whatever. But I really appreciate the sort of pendulum swinging back from like, oh, everything's so complex, to everything is still complex, but like not in the most like first level, like, oh, what are we fighting, you know, like who are we fighting against? Maybe we're the real monsters.
Well, it's like simple. It's like making the enemies much more simple, and then like making the main like character and like her
Interact with
journey
them in a
way
different
more
way.
complex.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's so nice. It's so refreshing. I loved all the flashbacks in this episode of just showing like how much Frieren like really learned back in the day that she still is like using like 1,000 years later. You know, like she took all of these lessons and didn't truly like maybe understand or appreciate all of them fully at the time, and then after so many years of just like reflecting on it, you know, now it's kind of it's just like in her nature. And same thing with the mana suppressing thing. It's like to her at first it's just like, oh, like, you know, what's so great about this, and then she just did it to the point that it became probably almost unconscious over so many years, just so she can have like this one epic moment where she just absolutely owns a demon.
Yeah.
And I love that she did that to Fern as well. It's like, it's awesome to see. What's cool about it is that she's not, like, I don't even think she told Fern, like, oh, you need to do, it's like with
for the demons
yeah,
thing?
It's like with the special demon killing magic. She's like, oh, this is just ordinary offensive magic, but actually it's like her own twist on it. And she's probably like, oh, Fern, you need to like suppress your mana just, you know, because it will help you be better. And then it's like, really, it's part of this crazy elaborate plan to, you know, be able to kill demons better. It's like Frieren is doing all that to Fern, but with way less of the explanation, because Fern will just do whatever she says.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, her approach to teaching is very different. I do wonder if there is some kind of conspiracy with Flamme, like, you know, ensuring that, like, basically creating a fucking super weapon in Frieren against demonkind, because Flamme obviously is a very human and died, but she was like super talented and loved magic and had more potential than anyone, to the point where people remember her as this like she's like one of those old like Greek philosophers of magic, like one of these people like I forget, I'm drawing a blank right now, like Socrates, or like one of those like these people who just like, you know, just like did so much in their time and like, you know, really jump started like the whole field, and like and how and their influence like carried on so consistently that like we still remember them as figures like like so far in the future. Like that's kind of how she is, like, you know, so much of cultural influence can be like, you know, there's so many things like religions and stuff like that are, you know, we don't know who wrote, I mean, apparently God wrote the Bible, but like, or, you know, well, we know like we have names attached, but we don't have like people, like a character in history like that, where she's like this kind of person who, it's funny to find out that the only reason why she left behind like a bunch of different spells and a bunch of different teachings and stuff like that, but like Frieren has accomplished so much. She killed the Demon King, but she just sat like studying and learning and training for like 1,000 years. Like, I don't know where I'm going with that exactly. It's just like, it's just cool as shit. She's just overpowered as hell. But she, despite all of this talent, it's tragic that she is human. You know, time moves on, time marches on, and that, like, same thing with Heiter, same thing with all of Frieren's friends and all the other characters, all the like the small folk that are in all these towns that are like so nice, and, you know, nothing of them will be remembered except for maybe by Frieren, but she'll probably forget even, you know, whether they're a really powerful mage or like a small person. It's just the effect that they have is so strong yet so small, and Flamme, I think, obviously knew that. I just wonder if she did something, or if I'm just crazy and this is a total tinfoil. It's just like
we really need to make your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I need a tinfoil hat emote or something.
Yeah, I think
Was it just a coincidence that she's like she finds the perfect like vessel for her knowledge and this perfect thing that she's still to this day, like, Frieren came back to her house 1,000 years later, knowing, like, with Flamme knowing that Frieren would come back, find her book about heaven, and then she would go and knowing she would have killed the Demon King, even talking here as if she knew she would have killed the Demon King. So, like, did she start planning that after she met Frieren, or did she, did the planning start before that? Was it a plan to get a pupil like Frieren? How did she know where this elf village was?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like she just kind of
stumbled upon this demon hunter, this, like, super powerful mage, stumbled on after the battle. Just walked in.
I mean, it looks like it. I love how badass she looks. Like, her design is so cool. Every time I see her, I'm just like, God damn.
A big thing is she has thick arms, and there's the armband, but she has thick arms and good posture. But they didn't give her, like, giant tits or, like, giant muscles. But you could tell, like, if you just look at the thickness of her arms, she's just kind of built and, like, carries herself with, like, wider, broader shoulders. But she still looks very feminine.
Mm-hmm. She also, like, the style of her outfit is just very cool and flattering, but she still looks like a badass, and her hair is just so cool.
And another big thing is these are traps? What are these? I forget what these are called. Or these are traps. I forget. That gives you kind of like a more imposing figure. Cause
she also has like her costume, her outfit seems very like Greek inspired. Like she's like a
Greek philosopher.
Yeah, or like a warrior. Like see like these type of sandals.
Yeah,
and like this type of like just this whole like not really the shirt, like the shirt honestly, like the cut of the shirt is almost like a more modern day
tunic, yeah.
like badass like action adventure girl, like if this was the girl in like the main girl in but she was Indiana Jones, like a Tomb Raider kind of girl or whatever, like that's what the shirt reminds me of, but then the bottom is like very like Greek inspired. And I love how they make Frieren seem so young, even though she's probably like, she could be young.
She said she's lived over 1,000 years, and she does look like more of a young teenager.
Yeah, it seems like she's a teenager, but I'm not sure if she's like a elf teenager, like she's 100 years old here, or if she's like a human age teenager, if she's like 50, like a hobbit teenager, like Frodo goes on his quest at like 50 years old,
right?
Kind of deal.
I imagine it's around that.
But it's interesting how like you said, like I think she technically looks the same, but just the way that she carries herself and like her outfit,
she's shorter and thinner, just
like it really contributes. She looks like pathetic almost, like she just very
unsharpened. Yeah. But she could be even like hundreds of years old by this point, if you think about it, the way she talked about. She's like, oh, well, you only told me that 50 years ago. Yeah. Like, as if she...
I feel like in your first 100 years,
it's like if I was 16,
yeah.
That's like how I would respond if I was 16, is like, you're acting like you told me that when I was like a little kid. You told me that when I was 14 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, you told me that like 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. Or like, you told me that like a few months ago. That's what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. What if it's revealed that she's literally like 10,000 years old? Like... that she looks kind of young here, but it's just elves age like that, and
and now she's like the elf equivalent of like 30 years old or something.
Oh, this is also what might contribute to my flamme caused 9/11 theory. Flamme did 9/11. The demons were saying like, oh, the demon king ordered us to kill all elves. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a trope that like, oh, my lord, I've looked amongst I've placed the stones, I've looked amongst the stars, the tea leaves are saying, kill all the elves and you'll be safe. Oh, you heard, that's what we'll do. I'll thanks to this prophecy, I'll, fulfill it myself by doing this shit. So it's like a common thing for like evil emperor trying to obtain immortality and great power, following up prophecy that ultimately leads to their demise. And because of what we know about Flamme and her power, if the Demon King could get this prophecy, possibly, like is saying that he did, or could foresee that an elf would be his undoing, why couldn't Flamme do that with all of her talent and like all of the shit that she planned out? Again, like knowing that Frieren would go defeat the Demon King, then come back to her house 1,000 years later, and then be directed to go back on her journey again, to go past that and go beyond plus ultra. And if it seems like this is a very Jing sort of situation. She just planned out everything. And Frieren, because Frieren said that when they walked into her house, they were just like, if she was just like, oh, that fucking lady, she really knew that I would come back here after 1,000 years, huh? So, and the way she was talking here about that she would, like, oh, don't put your name in tie. That'll happen when you kill the Demon King. I think that it might be, the thing that I haven't quite said about the possibility of this, maybe it's not as crazy as like she sent the demons there. Maybe she knew about what was going to happen.
When she rolled up by herself, she said, "Oh, this looks like an elf village."
She also said a million other things. What I'm saying is, like, maybe it's not like she wanted that to happen. She wanted. She's not. I'm not saying she's necessarily like Itachi with Sasuke or something like that. But maybe there's more. Maybe she knew more than she was letting on, and it would fit again with like the whole theme of all of Frieren up to this point of, you know, the fragility of human life, but the beauty of it, and like the little moments and the little things, and like it would just fit really nicely into the whole picture of like the story and the way that the things that the show is focusing on. Something more with that. I think maybe there's something, like, you know, again, I'm not saying this one thing or the other, just like maybe there's something more to Flamme's relationship to Frieren than from this onward. Maybe there's stuff before, maybe she knew something before, maybe she had her own prophecy or saw her face in the stars or in a dream or some weird shit and knew that this was fated, or, you know, was operating with some other knowledge. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to say was about the whole possible God thing. That's also something I didn't really think about. Is there hasn't been any divine magic. There's only been arcane style within you type magic.
But we know that people do believe in a god or possibly multiple gods.
But what was interesting is that Heiter was speaking as if like a mage. Like he described her mana, like he was comparing himself to Frieren when they found her, like they were, you know, 1-to-1 style. Like, you know, I have my mana this way. Maybe maybe the difference between a priest is like applied in different ways. Like priests are maybe like they focus obviously probably on healing and exorcisms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's the way he was taught, like the way that the way everything around his religion seems to be more of a guiding principle and like a school of magic rather than, you know, in D&D, for example, or in other, you know, fantasy worlds, it's like a different power system running parallel, like sage mode and fucking normal chakra.
Well, you could also have it so that, like, there just is magic in the world. That's an undeniable fact. And some people believe that it comes from different places. So if you believe that all magic comes from God, whether or not the people using it, or you believe that there is, like, good magic and evil magic, and the devils, or the demons are, like, getting magic from, like, the devil, or, like, an evil entity, or just themselves because they're demons. And then, like, good people can channel magic from God, but even if they don't believe in God, but him, like, praying or, like, being devoted to that, maybe in his mind, or in real, like, I don't know. There hasn't been any confirmation one way or the other about God. But, or it could just be, like, believing in heaven, so he's using magic, but he's also, hoping to go to heaven, because he talks about that. He's like, oh, I think that we've secured our, like, spot in heaven after defeating the Demon King and stuff like that. So if it's like if I use magic for good, then I'm in God's good graces.
I said in the reaction, but like that maybe they made a pact with some sort of thing, like some sort of, like they made an agreement or some sort of something with a higher power of some kind. And that is, like, shameful or whatever, because then it's not, again, with, like, demons taking pride in their own mana.
Yeah.
It's about them showing that off. Whereas if you just, like, accept that from another thing, then you're kind of cheating in a way. It's not you. It's you're getting the power granted from something else, and that would explain like the crazy disparity with mana. But it seems way more individualized like that, and it's very shonen-y with like the you have this power within you, and the way you sharpen it is by like not being flashy about it. Like you keep you keep it within, and you control it, and you sort of live with it and focus on it, and sort of give attention to it, and you don't the power is the power of the sword is in the sheath, not
Well, and it makes a lot of sense too why back in the day when Frieren fought whatever her name is before, she was using all these flashy spells and like destroying all the bodies and stuff. And I did read a comment that said that the reason that she stopped doing that was because it was kind of disrespectful to all of the
I kind of think that's bullshit, honestly. Like that's one thing I don't agree with.
The other thing is that
because they were already being controlled, they're literally being desecrated. If I was one of those bodies, I would want Frieren to blow my ass up.
I guess,
personally.
but I mean the way that she's doing it now is more, like I guess more respectful because she's just like taking away the influence and then they're like collapsing.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting as well because it's less flashy. So it's like how with Fern, when she like goes all out and is just like shooting off a million things, and the guy's like, how is this even possible? And then he figured it out. He was already dead by the time that he actually kind of figured out what was going on. But that's interesting too, as a way of making sure that your enemies don't know what you're doing.
Well, they instantly misjudge. It's the literal. I love it because it's the like Flamme said, it's like the exact inverse of what they do with words. It's like, oh, this magic word, mom is a magic word that just like makes people believe that I'm suffering, and the same shit is said for concealing your mana, and it's just as equally like because of just the values. It's so interesting. It's very interesting.
I also really like how Flamme is she says that she really loves magic as well, because like Frieren and Frieren are both like somewhat. Did I say that?
That's because I said Fern. I threw you off. Sorry.
Frieren and other Frieren. No.
Frieren and purple Frieren.
They both say like somewhat when liking magic.
Yeah.
And I like that, and I like that Flamme is like, oh, Frieren, this is the spell that like taught me how to love magic, and then she gets kind of excited like every other time that we see her. She just looks like kind of uninterested and bored, or just generally just kind of grumpy a little bit. But she looks really happy to get to learn the spell about the flowers and stuff. So I think that was really nice, and kind of, and then when she showed that later on, then she started collecting all the little spells and like, because like those are, important too. Those are like someone's favorite,
Yeah. Yeah, because I think we heard the thing about the mage. Oh, there's been a mage in these woods for a long time. Like that was always we heard that multiple times before. Like Frieren was like, yeah, it was me, or like it was, and then I was the mage in this woods for a long time. Oh, but it's interesting that because she was there for a long time. It goes back also. There's a couple things. So her disconnection to people, the fact that she like never got to know, and she's like just now in her long life, like going on this thing about learning about people, because she was literally just in those woods for
just chilling.
And with the development of Voltrock or whatever, the demon killing magic that was developed, it's because she wasn't interacting at all. Because I was like, oh, she lived so long and it's like her only accomplishment. To me, hearing that, I was just like, so is the writer doing this thing where they just hype up the character as being fully developed, like everything that they've done and their whole personality is being sort of co-opted by this one small plot line in order to hype up this one big reveal? Is that what we're doing here? Because that's a big thing in shonen all the time, where it's just like, it seems like if sometimes the author will want to hype up just this one fight, so then they'll just like stack on all of these accolades, it's a bunch of words, and they just say a bunch of shit about the character's past, and they just like, okay, they did this, they did this, they did that, and they did that. And it's like, okay, what's the room for everything else? Because apparently their whole like, if you know them for this, that means that this is like their reputation and everybody knows them for that. Frieren's lived 1,000 years. What did she do the rest of the time? Are you know, it seemed to me like it felt because of my expectations as an anime viewer, it felt like a hasty way to sort of build up the fight without considering what that would mean for like the overall world building. And it's more concerned with, I want the audience to feel really invested in this one conflict, so I'm gonna make the main characters like whole reputation, everybody knows them for this one thing that we also conveniently learned like a few episodes ago. And that's Frieren's like whole thing. And I was just like, that seems like a small thing for this 1,000-year-old person to be about. But it turns out that it wasn't just lazy writing. It was also set up again to go back to the retreading the path that we already went down with Frieren being in those woods all the time. She spent all that time there. We didn't know. I think we kind of knew that she wasn't interacting very much, but I figured that she was like traveling and getting spells for those like 800 to 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because she's like, I'm going around doing all these spells, and I'm like, how have you not gotten them all after that long?
Like, especially if they're left by your teacher. It's like, so you're following in your teacher's footsteps that you were with her for most of it. Like, you know, she went traveling before you, met you, but she was only like 30 years old when she met Frieren. And then for 50 years, they were just sitting in that forest till Flamme died, because Flamme had already set the stage for Frieren to go do all her shit. So she's retracing a 20-year journey, a 10-year journey of this human woman for 1,000 years. But no, she stayed in the forest for like 900 years and then went out with her friends because she had like a certain amount of magic, learned a bunch of shit, and then has been retracing those steps for like the last 80. So it's a weird thing, because then if she was very young before meeting Flamme, then she's not really 1,000 years old. She got isekai'd 1,000 years in the future, kind of. Like, she was a girl, and then she got teleported, and she lives a long time, but she got teleported, essentially. Like, she built up she basically, like, hey, here's a time machine, I'm gonna freeze myself, and when I wake up, I'm gonna be 10 times more powerful. And she woke up, and then went on a journey, like 900 years later, is kind of what happened. She sort of was frozen in time. So it's interesting. It solves a lot. It solves like a lot of the weirdness that I was afraid was going on with the writing, but it really does change Frieren as like a historical being. You know what I mean? Because she wasn't really living as like a character interacting with the world for all that time. She was
kind of there.
Here's kind of what it is. Because her party and the people that she met when she was traveling were really important to her. She didn't have a concept for it because she'd been so disconnected from reality, but it's like, I thought that she wasn't invested in those relationships as much. First of all, just because she's an elf and she has less emotion, but like the way she interacted with everything was kind of like passe and like, oh, well, I'll come back in 20 years and everything will be fine. Not thinking about all this stuff. And I thought that it was because she's disconnected just because of her nature, and because she had been traveling for so long that she's met so many people and she's interacted with so many things that she's kind of grown numb to it. And then Himmel and her group like sort of pierced through that and got through to her. But it turns out that they were like some of the first real, she met people, I'm sure, but they were like the first real friends outside of Flamme and the people in her village, probably, unless she lived like way longer before that she knew. So her party meant a lot more because of that. It's not even, I'm talking like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm just like working through all the stuff, because her being there for a long time changes how I understand her character a lot. Does that make sense? I'm being really long-winded about this, but anyway.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Is that weird to say? I don't know.
No, I see what you mean, but I guess I also think, like,
it just makes her a lot more of a young person.
Well, I think that was kind of the thing with Frieren from the start. It's like she is both, like, old and extremely wise, and also, like, young in a way and inexperienced at a lot of things. It's like she is old and wise about these, like, kind of, like, grand ideas or like things about magic or things about like kind of how certain relationships work and like the passing of time and this and that, but she's also young in that but at the same time she thinks that she knows less about humans than she actually does, because she actually does know a lot. But I think to her, and I think also from just like chilling out in the woods for like hundreds of years, I think it just like shows how like it would be as if you or I moved to like a cottage in the woods for like less than 10 years, and just like, I mean, like, still that would be a long time, but then you come back and but it would be like you did something like that when you were like maybe like 18 years old. And so then you kind of like stunted your growth in like in a specific period of your life. You see what I'm trying to
I know exactly what you mean, because that's literally what happened to me in
so,
real life.
So
that's literally
my
life, what you just described.
Cabin in the middle of the woods.
I wasn't in the woods. I was just in my mom's basement. But yeah, very disconnected from reality.
Yes. So I guess to me it kind of works with her not doing anything, because I think that she, it's like she had her village. Possibly there was more stuff before that, but from what we know, she had her village, which all got completely taken away from her and lost. And then she had her teacher, which was like her like main, closest, and longest relationship. But to her, it was still such a short period of time that I think then that's why when she was like with her group later on, it seemed like they weren't as close as they were, because it's like her most important relationship in her entire life is now so long ago and is such a small portion of it that it's like it would be like if somehow your relationship with like your mom was like condensed down to like a 1 year period of your life when you were like a baby, but you were like, you could still remember all of it. And then it's like, that's still really important. So how can this friend that I made for like a few weeks be even really my friend?
Mm-hmm.
Because
but then once they're gone, you realize how much it meant.
It is really, it's hard to explain exactly, because it's such a specific situation, and it's both like a relatable yet completely unrelatable situation,
Yeah.
So it's
I just thought of her. I thought of her as an old soul who was just very slow at understanding. This is exactly what I was trying to get at.
Okay.
To me, because when we found out she had lived for so long, it felt like she was an old soul, and her problem was that she learned very slowly, and that's why she hadn't. That's why she is now just learning about people, is just because it took her a long time to get to find people that she could befriend like that. But she had so many experience. This is like my backstory that I kind of filled in, is like she had been traveling and being a person for so long and lived life and interacted with a bunch of different things. But once that chord was struck, it like changed everything. But what we found out this episode was that she's not really an old soul. She just really lacks, and she maybe is not even slow at learning that kind of thing. She just has lacked experience because she's just been in a box, self-contained for so long. So that's what I mean by it changes the way that I see her. Is that like, yeah, do I need to repeat it? Do I need to put it in a different way? I guess not. I thought she had more going on in her history, and she probably does, like with the elf village and stuff. But it turns out that she had way less experience with life and with relationships, and that's probably the main reason why she's going on this journey and trying to like understand people and like learn about shit like that. It sounds like a small thing, but anyway. I guess it is a small thing. It is a small thing. We're just spending way too much time on it. I'll probably cut a lot of this out. What else is there? It was really sad when you see Flamme as an old lady. Mm-hmm.
She really retained her hair color, though.
That's what I was thinking.
That's immediately what I noticed.
Crazy.
I was just like, damn, what hair dye is she using? Maybe she had a magic spell so that she could maybe she wasn't even a natural redhead. She actually had different color hair.
Magically dyed her hair?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, was no magic to keep your youth. Flamme would have had it, and fucking, well, I mean, we kind of learned that with Heiter as well. Is, you know, Frieren or Heiter would have probably, on their crazy journey, learned a spell to, like, shorten your, or, like, lengthen your life a little bit. And maybe there are things that you could probably do to keep yourself healthy with magic. But Flamme, the crazy super mage, died at a reasonable age of like 80 to 90 years old.
She looks incredible for her age.
She looks great for her age, but she still died of old age at that, and presumably old age. Maybe she killed herself. Or like some sort of ritual-based thing for her spirit to carry on in a certain way or something like that. She's very mysterious, but it's a consistent thing that the show, again, it's very consistent with the themes of the show, that, you know, the author is not putting in an out for humans yet. Maybe there'll be one that we learn, and it's like, oh, Fern can actually stay with me for a long time, apparently. If we learn this spell, there's the one little thing of a human sacrifice every 10 years, but other than that, you know, she can stick around and retain her youth for an extra 20 to 50 years. Something like that. Like, maybe there'll be some sort of conundrum like that, because there is still the real disparity between Fern and Frieren's age. Yeah,
well, there's also the thing of, like, heaven, or, like, you know, where all the dead people go.
Right.
So, I think, like, you know, part of it is, like Fern before was in the situation where, like, she's had, like, her mentor, like, get left in the past, and then her, like, peers, and then now she has students, and then I think that is, like, if we go through, and if, you know, Fern and Stark get really old and die, and Frieren is just still there, kind of at the end of this, or if we don't get to that point, but we kind of, like, can see that she, like, has realized what will happen at that point. I think it's really interesting, because I think that is, like, the most unnatural of those things. It's, like, as like a normal human person, it's like you expect people that are older than you to die.
Yeah.
Or you expect people around the same age as you might see them die, but you don't expect people that are, like, your children, or, like, people that are significantly younger. You don't expect to, like, have that loss.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's kind of, I don't know, I just thought of that, of, like, there's, like, the three things kind of in Frieren's life, these three, like, very important relationships that she's potentially going to have to deal with the loss of, and they're all like, different in different ways.
I wonder, speaking of, like, heaven and stuff like that, I wonder, because there's a lot of, with Frieren specifically, and with a couple of things, and people have noticed it outside of just us, but there's a lot of clear Tolkien influence. Not in crazy ways, you know, it's not like Lord of the Rings, but, like, just the way that she is an elf and the dwarf, you know, all that shit works, is very classical Tolkien-esque fantasy. And spoilers for the end of Lord of the Rings, all of the fucking elves die. They don't die. They pass on. They're basically the idea of elves is they're not like the elves are fundamentally are like the opposite of humans. Like, you know, we live a very short time by our own measure. They live forever. And you know, they're supposed to be kind of like angels, or like they're both like a higher being, but they're also lower in that they're less emotional and disconnected from life as we see it. You know, they're different creatures, but they're kind of a mirror in some ways to humanity. That's what they mean, sort of metaphorically. But they go off at the end and become one with God. Essentially, they go off to I forget what they call it you remember what they call it? They call those lands the lands beyond the fucking edge of the world, or whatever it is. They sail off at the end of Lord of the Rings, and the idea is that they're passing on to the afterlife, and it's like a sad but also good thing, like going to heaven is in, like, Christian mythology. And I wonder if a similar thing is going to happen with Frieren, if that influence will continue from just the start to the end. Because the whole thing is, you know, it's kind of a similar thing. Is Frieren's living all this time and, like, trying to do good in the world while they can, and then going off to heaven at the very end. And I wonder if that'll be the end of Frieren's story. Will she'll just stay there and reunite with Flamme and her friends and stuff like that, and she's not going to want to leave because she'll have done the good that she can. And it's like at this point, will she even die? Like, we don't even know if she lives, is it fully like Tolkien elves where they actually live basically forever?
Or is it like,
other
kind of elf,
like D&D elf where it's like 300 something, maybe more years,
or
depending.
like however many thousand of years, but there is like
there's a clear cap, and they eventually age. They age.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings, it's like they kind of age, but like you can tell who's older, but
like you have to be
Galadriel
I was
like
just gonna
insane.
say Galadriel is like insanely old, and like she hasn't aged a day.
If elves are like sort of a mirror to humanity, she is like an alien. Like they portray her like a fucking alien. Did you see
that one scene where she's like
yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if because there's clear little touchstones and little hints of that kind of influence, and I wonder if that will extend to that. Because the idea that the elf is like seeking out heaven at the end of their journey that's like straight out of Tolkien's whole thing. So.
And is it like I was talking about the different types of loss? Is it just that she in order to basically avoid that loss, or in a way just feeling like she can leave this world because she has taught the next generation what she is, similar to how Flamme taught Frieren and then felt content dying, but is still kind of guiding her along. It's like she's like her mentor, or like a mother type figure where she kind of raised her, but Frieren didn't fully understand at the time, but the same lessons are all guiding her through the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And then now she is teaching them to someone else, to the new children that she is raising. And yeah, at the end of that, either she will lose them and have to just continue around this cycle basically forever, or she could basically kill herself, or remove herself from this life.
Like you said, there's the three sort of pieces, like Flamme and then her party and then Fern and Stark. Will it be things end this way and then things end this way, and then the rule of threes, the third time they end up how they're supposed to, where Frieren achieves what, because Flamme, this happens a lot in I guess in anime, because anime a lot of stories like this are more based on a hero's journey type thing, or a more masculine story structure rather than a feminine in terms of archetypes. So Flamme is more of the heavenly father type figure, rather than a mother figure archetypally is a really a much more complex figure, and it means different things depending on the story. But the idea of this person who is a bigger, stronger version of you, but flawed in some way, but sets out a sort of a path for you to walk down, and it's your lineage. It's what you aspire to be, and eventually the goal is to be as good as they were, and follow in their footsteps, but also surpass them, sort of creating this forward momentum and this generational progress. That's what the father kind of means. So I think Flamme kind of fits that pretty well. But there's some mother aspects in there. Mothers are usually bigger and more foster, Mother Earth, fostering, harsh and also strong and caring and more supportive, I guess. So I guess that there's something there with that. But anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but this is a good episode. Regardless, we kind of got away from it because of me, but this episode, I guess, changed a lot more about my understanding of their relationship and Frieren's place in the world than I expected. And it's through very small things, and it doesn't change it in a bad way or really change it that much. It's just learning these little things just introduces so much to how I thought about everything, I guess.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot to talk about this episode, and I think maybe it's just at the point in the show and with all the flashbacks in this episode that kind of help to recontextualize some things, or fully flesh out the sort of the theming of the show and what's really going on here. Because I was just thinking about, like, you know, another similar show, Machia, but, like, in that, the relationship is completely different because it's like she is like a child in her village or the place that she was from, and then when she's out of there, then she becomes a mother and, like, raises this child, and then has to keep going with her life afterwards because she's immortal and humans are not, and it's about, like, letting go. It's like about kind of, like, letting go about stuff, but then this show is interesting because it, like, has kind of a similar idea to that, but, like, almost in the opposite, but potentially like moving towards a similar direction.
Yeah.
As the story progresses.
That's what I was kind of getting. That's what I was trying to say with the archetypes, is that, like, Machia is a story about the mother archetype and what it means to be a mother. And Frieren is much more of a masculine thing like that. That's a perfect comparison, because even though the characters in this are, like, female, like Flamme and Frieren and Fern, it's much more of a shonen-y type thing. It's more masculine. It's more like progression. It's more like moving forward down the path, not like Machia, where it's about sort of self-sacrifice and, like, because it's tragic and fucked up, but it's like the idea of the mother. The mother is literally sacrificing their body, especially if you talk historically, because all these archetypes are thousands of years old. So up until 100 years ago or so, you had a 50-50 shot of dying in childbirth, depending on where you lived. So, like,
sometimes way worse.
Sometimes
than
worse than that, and maybe you wouldn't get out unscathed. Yeah, so the idea of the mother is literally giving your life and putting everything on the line for your children and for the next generation, and to support things in that way. Whereas it's the father's job to, like, sort of point the way and lead in that way from a metaphorical standpoint. So that's what I was saying with the mother and the father archetype. This is, you know, Flamme's relationship to Frieren and Frieren's relationship to Fern is not like a mother-child sort of setup. It's more of a teacher-student, father-son or child, or, like, you know, follow in my footsteps, do as I do type thing. Whereas in Machia, she doesn't want Ariel to do as she does. It's, you know, it's not the same thing. Anyway. Okay, I think that's enough. Leave a like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.